there is a name that lured tens of thousands of explorers to die willingly, with not even their bones found afterward. El Dorado, the Gilded One. Have you heard of it? A city whose streets were paved with pure gold, whose palaces were inlaid with South America's unique emeralds, where even everyday tools were fashioned of gold. This isn't a fairy tale. Since the 16th century, it was the ultimate prize that drove all of Europe, from kings to convicts, to surge into the deadly jungles of South America. By conservative estimates from historians, more than 8,000 Europeans died directly in the pursuit of El Dorado. Indigenous deaths were beyond counting. It was, arguably, the single legend that exacted the greatest human cost of the age of discovery. Shockingly, not until 2022 did LiDAR, laser scanning from the air, reveal data from deep inside the Amazon that finally exposed the tip of the iceberg of a riddle that has troubled humanity for 5 centuries. But here's the question: did El Dorado really exist? Was it a mass hallucination born of greed? Or does that emerald heart of South America, 35% of which remains unexplored by humans even today, really conceal a lost civilization? Why, for 500 years, did every expedition that approached a certain zone mysteriously disappear? Today, I'll take you through time, following footprints stained with blood and gold, to relive the most breathtaking moments when we were closest to the truth. El Dorado's story did not begin with a glittering golden city, but with a stunning tribal ritual and a fatal misunderstanding. The year is 1537. Spanish conquistador Gonzalo Jimenez de Quesada led his army deep into the Andean highlands of present-day Colombia and made first contact with the Muisca civilization. Across this kingdom of the Colombian plateau, they discovered a remarkable custom. Picture this: under the moon, the Muisca gather at the circular Lake Guatavita. The newly chosen chief is coated head to toe in sticky resin. Assistants carefully blow fine gold dust all over him until he becomes a walking, luminous statue of gold. This is the true El Dorado, originally meaning the Gilded Man, not a golden city. Then, the Gilded One, with the elders, paddles a raft to the lake center, washes the gold dust from his body into the water, and casts all offerings into the depths to appease the spirits beneath the lake. One archaeological puzzle remains. On full moon nights, this lake still emits a mysterious blue glow for unknown reasons, which locals view as a sign that the spirits accept the offerings. The ritual's authenticity is beyond doubt. The Muisca Golden Raft, the crown jewel of Bogotá's Gold Museum, is ironclad evidence, a masterful piece that recreates the entire ceremony. But once this profoundly religious rite reached the ears of Spanish conquerors, men who had just subdued the Aztecs and the Inca, and were ravenous for more gold, everything changed. The distortion was astonishingly fast. Within 45 days, El Dorado shifted from the Gilded Man to the name of a golden empire beyond imagination. A periodic religious rite was spun into a fantastic realm where gold covered the land. The tale spread like plague, from Colombia's high plateau to the Orinoco Basin of Venezuela, and then deep into the Amazon. El Dorado's location grew ever hazy, but its allure only intensified. To lend credibility, 16th century European maps of South America started featuring Manoa, proposed by Sir Walter Raleigh, as the capital of El Dorado, along with other invented cities like Omoa. Meanwhile, early Spanish royal archives recorded irresistible rumors from indigenous informants. The king's palace is covered entirely with plates of gold. Gold is so abundant it's thrown away like common stones. What upends the old historical view is this: recent research shows the Muisca did possess astonishing metallurgical skills, producing gold objects of up to 23 carats, a feat nearly impossible without modern equipment. Thus, a legend rooted in a real ritual was wrapped in layers of misunderstanding and greed, swelling into a great mirage that drove centuries of expeditions. What drove them? Was it uncontrollable primitive greed, or did they hold evidence that we can no longer trace today? Once the phantom of gold takes root in the mind, it breeds a 5-century procession of fatal quests. The first to carve this despair into history was Gonzalo Pizarro. In 1541, the brother of the conqueror of the Inca, Francisco Pizarro, assembled a lavish expedition in Quito. 220 battle-hardened Spaniards, 4,000 indigenous porters, hundreds of horses, and large herds of pack animals. Brimming with confidence, they marched east, toward the Amazon basin's El Dorado. What awaited them was hell on earth. Relentless rains turned the jungle to quagmire. Armor rusted into deadweight. Mosquitoes, leeches, and parasites mercilessly tormented all. Mysterious fevers and dysentery spread like plague. When food ran out, they ate the hunting dogs and horses, and at last boiled belts and saddles to survive. It said the antidote formula they carried for poisoned arrows used in the region is still considered a lost medical treasure by many modern pharmacological researchers. On the brink of collapse, Pizarro ordered his lieutenant Francisco de Orellana to take a detachment in makeshift boats down the Coca River to search for food. Orellana never came back, saying the fierce current made it impossible to return upstream. They continued drifting, accidentally entering the main stem of the Amazon. After unimaginable ordeals, Orellana miraculously reached the Atlantic in 1542, completing the first east-west crossing of South America by river. Pizarro and the main force staggered back. When they finally returned to Quito, fewer than 90 of the original 220 Spaniards remained. The 4,000 indigenous porters were almost all dead. The catastrophe did not extinguish the dream. It made El Dorado even more mysterious. If Pizarro's failure exposed the limits of the conquistadors, Sir Walter Raleigh tried to conquer El Dorado with words and ambition. In 1595, the star of Elizabethan England sailed personally, fixing his El Dorado dream on Guyana. He didn't find the Golden City, but he did push up the Orinoco, even capturing the local Spanish governor. Back home, Raleigh wrote the discovery of the large, rich, and beautiful empire of Guyana, a florid, incendiary book describing Manoa, a city on a vast salt lake, whose wealth eclipsed the Inca. He painted Guyana as a land strewn with gold, claiming to have seen or as big as stones. The book electrified England and ignited a hunger for South American riches. In 1617, Raleigh returned to Guyana. He found no gold, attacked a Spanish outpost, lost his son in battle, and watched his deputy commit suicide in disgrace. The disastrous failure and his disobedience to the king put Raleigh on the scaffold. In 1618, the lifelong chaser of golden phantoms lost his head, leaped to the 20th century. British explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett enters the stage. Fawcett wasn't hunting gold. He sought a lost civilization he called Z. He was convinced that deep in Brazil's Mato Grosso, a highly advanced ancient city lay hidden. In 1925, Fawcett set out with his son Jack and friend Raleigh Rimmel, just 3 men, into the unknown. From the letters he sent back, we feel the hardship, but also cautious optimism. He mentioned hostile tribes, strange whistling in the forest, and unusually tall indigenous people. In his last letter of May 29, 1925, he told his wife they were about to enter the core zone and was confident they would succeed. Then, silence. The 3 men, along with all notebooks and maps, vanished without a trace. One detail stands out. Fawcett's final notes mention discovering plants that glowed in the dark, eerily consistent with modern findings of bioluminescence in the Amazon. How could an explorer so seasoned disappear without a word? No theory has decisive proof. Countless rescue missions found nothing and claimed more lives. Just when many were ready to consign El Dorado to fantasy, LiDAR cut through the fog like lightning. For a long time, orthodoxy held that the Amazon was too wet, its soils too poor, to support complex, ancient societies. But when LiDAR was applied, the results were revolutionary. What the scans revealed was not streets of gold, but something equally stunning. Beneath uninhabited rainforest lay vast geomorphic earthworks, complex road networks, causeways and canal systems crisscrossing the land, large plazas, platform mounds, fortifications, even planned town sites. These discoveries demolished the old image of an empty, primeval Amazon. Archaeologists also identified Amazonian dark earth, terra preta, a human-made fertile soil, proving that ancient Amazonians practiced sustainable agriculture, capable of supporting larger populations. From the sky came irrefutable evidence. Before Europeans arrived, the Amazon had been home to multiple complex societies, which raises a question. Could the early reports of a powerful kingdom have been distant echoes of real Amazonian civilizations, later gold-washed in the telling? LiDAR has carried us back to an unexpected Amazonian past, a world stamped with complex social organization, forcing us to reassess 5 centuries of searching and consider 2 core possibilities. Possibility 1, a cultural misunderstanding magnified by greed. The Muisca Gilded Man ritual truly existed. When gold-hungry Spaniards heard of it, the vast cultural gap, language barriers, and their gold-fixated mindset bred misreadings and exaggerations. As the tale spread, it gathered embellishments. Explorers exaggerated to win funding. Soldiers boasted and invented. Some indigenous groups misdirected with false leads. The Gilded Man became a golden city, then a golden empire, armed with distorted intel. Later expeditions fell into confirmation bias. Possibility 2, even more intriguing. The El Dorado legend was a blurred echo of real, lost Amazonian civilizations. LiDAR and terra preta research show the Amazon did have the technological base to support complex societies. These societies may not have been paved with gold, but could have possessed other forms of wealth, intricate trade networks, advanced agro-technologies, or unique cosmologies. By the time Europeans arrived, these civilizations may have already declined. What early explorers heard were fragmentary memories preserved by surviving tribes, filtered through a European value system that equated worth with gold and simplified into the legend of El Dorado. As for the failed expeditions, the Amazon itself is a natural fortress. Lethal diseases, extreme climates, impossible terrain, and indigenous resistance. Perhaps most startling of all, in 2022, LiDAR mapping in Bolivia revealed ancient architectural layouts whose geometric arrangements bear striking similarities to medieval European alchemical and astronomical symbols. This unlikely coincidence remains unexplained. The truth may be a weave of both possibilities, a real ritual amplified by cultural misunderstanding, overlapping with the faded memory of real but forgotten Amazonian civilizations. From a scientific standpoint, El Dorado's core contradictions emerge. The Amazon rainforest, the most biodiverse region on Earth, is also dense with pathogens and toxins. For outsiders without immunity, it is a death trap. The toll of tropical diseases far exceeded indigenous weaponry, and the soil problem matters. Most Amazonian soils are oxysols, nutrient poor. Rains leach nutrients quickly, making traditional large-scale agriculture hard to sustain. So how could a golden empire with a massive population survive? Amazonian dark earth offers a partial answer. proving ancient residents developed unique agriculture. But its distribution is regional, not uniform across the basin. Archaeologically, though LiDAR has revealed stunning sites, no discovery directly confirms the fabulous gold wealth of the legend, or a single, resplendent golden metropolis. Most Amazonian sites found so far highlight earthworks, water management, and social organization, not heaps of gold. In some, science hasn't found evidence for El Dorado in the literal sense, yet science has shown the Amazon did host complex, ancient societies. Thus, the story of El Dorado has shifted from pure fantasy to a puzzle poised between history, legend, and the unknown. 500 years on, El Dorado's legend is like the Amazon River itself, winding and braided, now clear, now lost in mist. Following the explorer's footprints, we've watched hope ignite and be devoured by despair. We've seen greed warp reality and courage end in tragedy. Perhaps El Dorado never corresponded to any single coordinate on Earth, yet it truly exists in our collective psyche. It has long ceased to be a simple treasure hunt. It has become a mirror reflecting the strongest and most conflicted forces within us. Our drive to explore the unknown, our insatiable hunger for wealth, and our smallness and fragility before vast nature and our own greed. History's wheel keeps turning. LiDAR has lifted one corner of the Amazon's ancient tapestry, proving that the land was never a wilderness. But this does not end the story of El Dorado. It makes it more thought-provoking. As future technologies pierce the jungle's veils, will we bury the golden legend for good as a historical misunderstanding? Or will we discover a secret more astonishing than gold itself? Share this tale of gold, loss, and discovery with friends who are as curious about the world as you are, and see where their judgment falls. And one last, most unsettling question: why do expeditions and research teams still vanish when approaching certain regions of the Amazon? What unspoken secrets does this green heart still hide? This is Channel. We'll see you next time.